Okay.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Bestie Book Reviews, or if it's your first time, welcome. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie Jessica.
Today's video is Taboo book or Taboo Reads. It's Taboo Reads.
Yes.
We are going to talk to you about 6 each, right?
6 each, yeah. So 12 Taboo reads when we're done here.
Yay!
So buckle up.
Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I don't always say it because I always forget, but make sure you hit that down there. And give us a like, and make sure to leave some comments. We like comments.
Yeah. What is your favorite Taboo read?
Exactly. Give us your favorite Taboo read. So these are not necessarily our 6 like all-time favorites. These are just 6 that we chose that we really like. They're in no particular order. So let's get started. Do you want to start or want me to start?
I don't care.
Okay. Well, I've got one right here.
You start.
So you cannot have a taboo. I knew you wouldn't put this on your list, but this is the ultimate. No, you didn't.
I did.
So you're getting 11. You have to. This is the ultimate taboo. It really is.
Well, that was what I was going to be like. You can't have a taboo list without K Webster.
No, without K Webster.
Which book are you talking about? Wild or Free?
You can talk about Free.
I was going to talk about Wild.
I'm talking about Wild.
Okay. So we have 11 taboo recommendations.
Actually, if you want to start and talk about Wild, I'll look up the information and talk about Free.
Okay. Okay, you want me to go into Wild right now then? Okay.
Yeah. So Mandy's going to start us off talking about Wild.
Yeah, so let me flip to my notes. I was going to put that one in the middle.
No, you have to start it with that one. That is like the ultimate book.
You're right out the gate with like hardcore. So
yes.
Wild is by K Webster. And again, like, can you have a taboo list without K Webster gracing your list? I don't think you can.
Nope.
K Webster herself says, this book is extremely taboo. It will make you incredibly uncomfortable. And this book is only for the brave and open-minded. I did not read this book because I'm brave and open-minded. I read this book because Jessica sent it to me and she was kind enough to have K Webster sign it for me. And she told me I had to read it, and I read it. And I was like, I feel really uncomfortable. Like, what are you having me read? And she's like, just keep reading. That's like her mantra. Just keep reading.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Jessica said to just keep reading because you have to just keep reading this book. And we're going to have to do an in-depth discussion where we don't, because if I talk about some of the things in this book, it'll be giveaway spoilers. So we'll have to do a separate video someday to talk about this because some reasons that Jessica felt the book works out okay were reasons that's making me uncomfortable.
I know. Oh my gosh. Would you remind, like, I don't know why you had to remind me of those reasons because I should just know those reasons, but a little bit. Yeah. I can see that.
Yeah.
Yep.
So this is about Reed. He is a father and he is moving his daughter. And I cannot remember how old she was, Jessica. Do you remember?
17.
17. Okay.
She's underage throughout the whole book for the most part. She's 16, turned 17 while they're,
So they are moving from California to Alaska and they're in their RV. It's him, his wife, which is also Devin, his daughter's mother. So it's the 3 of them. They're moving to Alaska. They've had some tragedy. And so this is kind of like his idea of a fresh start. He's bought this huge chunk of land out in the Alaskan bush. And they're going to drive their RV out there and try and make some shelter and things. And they know that once they get there, they're going to be stuck there for a while because they're in like the middle of nowhere and the roads won't be passable again. So once they're there, tragedy strikes again. And this is the story of Reed, his daughter, Devin. And
that's as far as we're getting, huh? That's as far as we're getting.
What else could you say about this book? I mean,
I don't know. Yeah.
So read it with an open mind. If you do, like, please adhere to K Webster's warnings. Like, if you are not up for an extremely taboo book that's going to make you go multiple times, don't read this. But K Webster is a fantastic author, and it's a good book. It's just incredibly taboo. So if you don't like those sort of things, don't read this book is the best I can tell you. But if you're up for something different, give it a try. So out of my 6, this is like the extreme taboo, which is why I wasn't going to start out the gate with it. But there you are. Jessica,
Yeah.
are you ready?
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So this one is and I kicked it. Okay, so since Mandy did that, I will do The Free, which is the second book in this duet. The Free, because it sounds wild and free. So this is a bind up. So here's the deal. So in The Wild, we meet Atticus. Atticus is a football player whose family lives in Alaska, and he's I think he was an NFL player, and so now he's living in Alaska. I don't think he's playing anymore. Don't remember what happened there, but he's not playing anymore. But we also meet Eve, and when we meet Eve, it's a really bad situation. Really, 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 really bad situation. She lives in a little shack out in the woods, and has never really been brought, like, never seen civilization, never been brought to town, kind of a thing. Something happens where Atticus brings her to his house, and there is attraction, especially on Eve's part. I mean, they're both attracted, but he doesn't know how old she is. Like, he can't figure it out. She doesn't know how old she is, so he thinks she's like 12 or like really young, and he's trying to justify these feelings he's having for her. And she clings to him because he's her safety. Things go from there. Things come out that make you very uncomfortable. There's really not a lot that you can say, but these 2 books are like the ultimate taboo books, and then some. I mean, they're just, yep, yeah. There's really not much you can say. You can't give it away, and there's just too much to give away. You are muted once again.
I 100% agree. You just have to get the book and read both of them. And I know it looks thick, but I actually I sat down and read The Wild in one day and The Free in one day. Like it goes pretty fast.
They're like 200 pages roughly, but it looks like this is a shorter book compared to other ones too. So,
and I enjoyed the characters in both books.
I love both books. I know that The Wild is not for everyone. It is very dark. Being an Alaskan, though, I did enjoy it. There were a few things I had some problems with.
Of course you did. Of
course I did. But because that's my thing, my Alaskan thing. But I loved it. As sick and twisted as it was, I loved it. Definitely. So, okay.
Next. So my next book is called Dirty Little Secret by Ivy Arnold. And since we're just right out the gate with our hardcore taboo, I'm going to go with that. I do have some easier taboo recommendations. So maybe this is backward from like extreme to less taboo.
Yeah. These are all taboo. I mean, because they're all taboo, check triggers on all the books.
Yes. So why is Dirty Little Secret taboo? It's because it's super naughty. And the girl has some like sexual fantasies, kind of like a rape fantasy is how she describes it. But basically she's looking for somebody to sneak in her window, tie her up, and have their way with her. And after a drunken night of truth and dare, she thinks she's texting her ex-boyfriend that fantasy. But instead, somebody had thought it would be funny and they switched names in her phone. So she's actually texting her ex-boyfriend's dad that fantasy with the ending of want to help me make this fantasy a reality.
Oh my goodness.
And so dad texts back. And this is that story. It's a short novella, goodness, about this. It's taboo. It's smutty and it's a quick read. So if you're wanting something quick, smutty, taboo, read this. It is definitely different though. So again, like there's obviously, I think with taboo, like Jessica said, there's gonna be some triggers. So
There's
that may
always
not be for you. It was definitely not my favorite book, but it was different. I really like the premise of her accidentally texting her ex-boyfriend's dad this. That was kind of what drew me in. The whole, I'm not really a huge like into like the tying me up and all of that stuff in my books. I don't really gravitate to that sort of thing, but this was definitely a different read. All
okay.
right.
All right, so my next read it's a duet, but it's starts with Irreparable Damage by Sam Mariano. So this one, ooh, okay. So we have Willow. Willow's dad is in the Chicago Mafia. He's a mafioso. He's a big mafia boss. But she's the illegitimate daughter of this guy. So she really doesn't have anything to do with him. He doesn't really recognize her at all. And she doesn't have anything to do with the mafia. But on her 18th birthday, she's kidnapped by traffickers. And you get what kind of traffickers. We don't want to say it out loud because that will flag us, possibly. I've heard. Anyhow, special traffickers. And she is taken captive by them. With the idea of getting, I think it's with the idea of getting ransom from the dad. But anyhow, we have Ethan, who is a private investigator, and he's actually undercover. He's infiltrated this group of traffickers, and his job was to get out a specific girl that he was there to get out. While he's there and Willow is brought in, I think the guys were like trying to test him, and they made him rape her in front of them. She's a virgin. So they make him rape her in front of them. And it's one of those things where a gun is held to his head and it's, you do this or you both die kind of a situation. So he does.
Well, but this is just dark.
This is great. But Ethan is married with a family, like with little kids at home. I think his wife was pregnant too at the time. I know his wife was pregnant. And so this sets up this book. This is in the very beginning of this book. And so you have like the repercussions of all of that, because while she hates him, she still seeks him out for comfort. And he's dealing with the trauma of, like, she's dealing with her trauma. He's dealing with the trauma of having to do this to her. And he got her to get her and the other girl out. He was there originally to get out. So while everyone's calling him a hero, he's not. And so kind of snowballs from there. So yeah.
That's crazy, Jessica.
It's good. Sam Mariano can do some crazy. I like her books.
Okay. So back to lighter Taboo.
How do you do light with Taboo? Come on.
Well, just listen.
I will.
I will give you some lighter Taboo. We don't have to go off the deep end for Taboo, okay? Okay, so my next book is Always Meant to Be by Siobhan Davis. Why is this book taboo? Because it's an age gap romance. She is older, he is younger, but Vander is Kendall's 18-year-old son's best friend.
There you go.
That is lighter taboo, okay?
Uh-huh.
So her marriage is falling apart, and she is not like I don't know. She's not, I'm trying to figure out how to describe this, because she does not go like seeking the attention of younger males to make herself feel better, anything like that, okay? But her and Vander just kind of connect on a different level. He is extremely mature for his age, and he just gets her and likes her and appreciates her. And as the story goes along, we find out like her husband is just awful, and he does not appreciate her or like her at all. Like, he just doesn't get her, but Vander does. And so this is a very innocent friendship that blossoms into other things. This book is wild. Like a whole bunch of other stuff happens. And at the end, you're like, wow, that age gap part really didn't even like play into this book because so much else is going on. So it was definitely not exactly what I expected, but it was really, really good. I loved it. I wasn't sure how I would feel about like the older woman, younger guy when he's like her son's best friend because I didn't want it to feel like icky, you know?
Icky. Yeah.
But it doesn't. It's not like that at all. And she actually tries to like keep that situation at bay. But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like that's pretty taboo. Like her 18-year-old son's best friend. Like there's a lot of taboo going on there. There's the age gap and the fact that he's best friends with her son and she's still married, like during the beginning of the book. Okay. I know you're like, that sounds like reading a children's book.
Sounds like reading an age gap. But I get it. Your taboo is not going to be my taboo. So
it was her son's best friend. That is the taboo part. Come on.
Yeah, my son's 17. I couldn't.
Like I said, he was very mature for his age.
Okay. So, my next book is Sicko by Amo Jones. So here's the deal. That's his nickname. He's in a motorcycle gang.
Oh, okay. I was like, as you can see, our reads for Taboo are quite different. We started off strong with Wild and Free. And then we just go
just go like this from there. Okay. So everybody's talked about, like, I heard all this stuff about Sicko and Amo Jones and how dark and crazy it was. I honestly didn't find this that dark. For some, it should be really dark. I didn't. I mean, it was a good read. It just wasn't like, oh my gosh, that's horrible. It wasn't like reading The Wild. But that's okay. It was still very good. So this is about Royce and Jade. So Jade, now this is where I get confused. They say Royce is Jade's foster brother, but they also say that she was adopted by this family as a child, as a baby. So how is that her foster brother? It should be her adopted brother. That's just my little side note right there. I don't understand that. But anyhow, she was adopted by the family, or she was brought into the family as a baby. And Royce was the older brother. So he's very protective of her from the beginning. They have a very strong bond from the beginning. And then when she is a teenager, he just up and disappears in the middle of the night. And he's gone. Just gone. No explanation. And when they say they're close, they were extremely close. So then the story picks up 4 years later when Reese shows back up. He's a part of a motorcycle gang. They call him Sicko because that's the name everybody wants. And basically, he's back to protect her and to protect her from his enemies. And that's all we need. Like, that's all I can tell you because it gives too much away what happens. But he comes back to protect her. She's ticked. And I don't blame her. She is not happy. He was gone. But the taboo part is this is a brother. Because from birth, she was with this guy as a brother. But when they're teenagers, you can see things start to change. And then they continue to change. This is more like up your alley.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think you'd probably find it darker than I did, obviously. But yeah.
This is a great lead into my next book. Anti-Stepbrother by Tijan. How do you pronounce that name?
Tijan.
Tijan. Okay. And I would just like to start off by saying I spent way more time probably staring at the cover of this book.
Is this the one that you love?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've read the book, but there's
for a while.
I knew there was a cover that you were like, all my book boyfriends look like this.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I need to no, that's probably not a good idea.
Are you gonna like leave the cover up throughout the whole video. I'm sure.
No, I was like, I need to find out who he is. Real life, like the model. I'm like, no, never mind. That's not a good idea.
No.
Okay. So why is this taboo? Well, I thought it was taboo because he's her stepbrother. But now I'm not so sure it's taboo.
It's okay, Mandy. You just keep going.
So this follows, and then it like it's like gonna change to not even being taboo really quick here when I tell you what the book's about. So this follows Summer, who goes off to college, her stepbrother Kevin, who became her stepbrother when they were teenagers. And he goes off to college, I think a year before her. And so she is super excited because now she's following him to college. She's going to the same college as him. And her hopes are that this is their opportunity. They're finally going to be together. Like, this is why she's going to college, is to be with her stepbrother, Kevin. Let's just say Kevin is a douche. Like, he's just, I don't understand what she sees in him. And I think she quickly starts to realize that too. So she gets to college expecting to like be warmly welcomed by him and everything's going to be fantastic. And she finds him with another girl at a party. So she's devastated. She's like trying to get out of this party and she ran smack into Caden, who is her stepbrother's fraternity brother, but he also does not care for Caden because Caden is not, he's just slimy and gross. Like, he's not a good guy. And Caden is kind of like your broody asshole type. And for some reason, they just end up kind of forming this weird little friendship, and she gets to spend a lot of time with him, and a lot of other girls are very jealous of her because he's like the broody hot guy on campus that doesn't give anybody any of his time, but yet he does her. And she starts to really fall for him because he is everything that her stepbrother is not. And that is the story.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It is so good. I loved it. There's I can't give anything away, or I won't give anything away, I guess. There's a lot more like I want to say behind the scenes, but like flashbacks to stuff going on with their stepbrother that definitely add to the taboo aspect of this book. But the focus is on the anti-stepbrother.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That works. Mm-hmm. So we're going to go.
Just read it for the cover.
So we're going to move from stepbrother to stepfather now.
Ooh.
Uh-huh. So you read the second book in the series. You haven't read the first. The series. So this is Brutal Intentions by Lilith Vincent.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So, yeah. Okay. So this is the story of Lazaro, or Laz. He likes to be called Laz, and Mia. So Laz has two older brothers. They've inherited their fortunes, and he is told that he will not inherit his until he gets married and has an heir. And then he can collect his money. And so he's been like this playboy, and he's like slept with the whole dang city at this point and just gone from bed to bed to bed. And so his family's sick and tired of it. And they're like, nope, we're going to arrange for marriage. There's mafia ties here. So we're going to arrange this marriage for you. So he gets married to this woman who he does not like, who is still young enough to have kids. She's in her early 40s. But yet she has an 18-year-old daughter, or a daughter who turns 18 in the book, and a couple other kids. But she
Pause.
What?
You're saying this woman in her 40s is going to have more children?
Yeah, doesn't that sound like horrible? Could you imagine?
I feel like this should be logged under horror.
I know. My kids will say things to me like that all the time, like, you're too old. I'm like, no, I could technically still be having kids if I was crazy. But no. Or if I had a uterus. But that's
I mean, we probably just feel like that because our youngest are like way past that toddler stage and stuff. So the thought of like starting that over is overwhelming.
I don't
but
care
if we had started having kids later in life, it would probably be doable.
It's different. But mine can make their own meals and wipe their own butts. Score.
Yes.
Yeah. I think they're more expensive than toddlers though right now, being teenagers.
Oh my God, the cost of shoes.
You have 3 boys.
Yes.
Mine just like to go shopping because I have girls.
Oh, mine do too. The Nike store. We have to get the new LeBron James or the new Dubs. And I'm like, oh my God, $300 for shoes that you don't want to wear because you don't want to get creases in them. What the
heck? Okay. So, yes, in the book, the mom is in her very early 40s. So she must have had wrong toggle. She must have had her kids at a very young age. Okay, so he gets married. Good for her. He gets married to Mia's mother. And he's a lot younger than Mia's mom. He's only a handful of years older than Mia. I cannot remember the age gap, but it was less than 10, if I remember right, or somewhere around there. So he gets married to her because he knows he has to have an heir. So he has to get her mom pregnant and he needs to be married. But he decides that he don't want to get her mom pregnant. He wants Mia and he wants Mia to have his babies. So he starts sneaking into her bed and she thinks he hates her. Like he's not nice to her at all. And things kind of snowball from there. But he decides he doesn't want mom. He wants the daughter. I mean, that's taboo. Right there.
Yep.
A little bit. I mean, he's all tattooed up and he drives this hot car and wears ripped jeans and things that my husband wouldn't wear because it would just look weird on him. Yeah. He just did leave the room, by the way. He has listened to this whole video. Like, we're going to have to talk about this afterwards. He's going to want notes.
All right.
Okay.
So back to light taboo. The next book I have is a duet called The Ward Duet. But the first book in that series is called The Man I Can't Have. And this is by Shanora Williams. I hope I said her first name right. Definitely check triggers for this book. I just wrote myself a note because there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens in this book. Why is this book taboo, you ask? Well, she is a married woman and she is lusting after her gardener landscaper.
It's like the pool boy.
In Pool Boy, she was not married.
No, just in general. It's like having a pool boy.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah. So
that's what made this book taboo, but clearly wouldn't be taboo by Jessica's standards. So Kyle, so this is about Marcel and Gabby. Gabby is married to Kyle. Kyle, you just kind of get some vibes that you don't really like him that much, but you can't really tell if it's because like the story is just trying to make you set up to like lust after Marcel like Gabby does, or if there's really reasons. So anyways, she ends up like really kind of lusting after her gardener landscaper, Marcel. He just really seems to read her and know what she wants. And he kind of just starts to pick up on some things by her mannerisms and her behaviors. Kyle is gone a lot. And that's how she ends up spending quite a bit of time with him. Because she's going to embark on an affair, it's really hard to talk about taboo books without giving, like you can't give stuff away. So she's going to embark on this affair and this is how this all plays out. I would highly encourage you to read both books because there was a time while I was reading this series, the 2 books, that I got a little frustrated and I'm like, Gabby feels a little too whiny for me and she's married. Like, come on now. But read both books and you'll go, oh, like a lot of things start to make sense. So it's taboo because she's married, but apparently that isn't really taboo. If you read Jessica, it is marked on Goodreads as taboo. Like it is shelved that way by multiple people. Not everyone.
I get what that would be
taboo. You
taboo.
should have like taboo and then dark taboo.
They should. They should.
That is how we should have done this.
I don't know that I have just general taboo. Everything I read is dark. Not really. Not really.
You're a mess.
Okay. I'm a mess. Moving on. Yes. So the next book I have is Wrong by Adelaide Forrest. So this one is more of a novella length. It's a shorter read, and it starts a series by a couple of different authors, I think, because the next book is Sam Mariano in the series. But this is about Everly, who is very flirty and friendly with Landon, who is her dad's best friend and has been for a long, long time.
Well, this doesn't sound taboo. This just sounds like a really good time.
I haven't got to the taboo part yet.
Oh, there's more? I thought it was just taboo because it was like age gap and it's her dad's best friend.
Dad's best friend, but he's been around since she was little. Okay. He's always known her, but as she's gotten older, the flirting has happened and they just haven't taken it too far yet. But Landon has some special proclivities. He starts up with this sex club called Purgatory.
Oh, dear.
And he has this fantasy, the specific fantasy, and it's a rape fantasy. And so
he should get together with the girl in my book.
Oh, okay. so he arranges with the club to kidnap a woman that they've set aside, like a woman that they've not set aside, a woman who works at the club that they've hired to be a part of his fantasy. And he asks that she wears like a specific thing, like a rose, or there's something she's supposed to have to differentiate. Oh my gosh. So that he knows who she is. I can't talk, obviously. And so
because you're so tongue-tied over your naughty book.
Yes. Very naughty. So he runs into her at this meeting point, and he's shocked because it's Everly. And so he kidnaps her, because that's the whole thing is he kidnaps her and takes her back to the club where he's supposed to, rape her. And that's what happens. She has the rose or the flower, whatever it was, she has it. He takes her back to the club. And the whole point was that, this was a fantasy. So even though she's saying, no, what are you doing this to me for? It's all part of it. So he doesn't realize that she was not the person the club hired. She's a virgin and he's just raped her.
Wait. Doesn't he get weirded out when he realizes this is his best friend's daughter?
Well, no, he's always liked her. Like since she's become an adult, he's liked her. There's been an attraction there, and they don't realize it's each other. Like they run into each other. And he's like, "Oh, well, this is weird, but man, I've had it going for this girl for a while, and this is like checking all my boxes." And she signed up for it, so here we go. But she didn't. Wow. She just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time, and then that happens, and then we have the aftermath.
Fallout from that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I wish the book was longer because it was just that good. I think I only gave it 4 stars because I wanted it to be more. I wanted more, but it was good. Yeah. Okay, give me your 5th or your 6th. I mean, your last one.
My stepbrothers and affairs don't really.
You said taboo.
When you come to our channel, you get a wide variety.
Yes, you do. You really do.
Wide variety.
We've got a. Yeah, we can. Next.
Okay, my next read is called Desolate by Autumn Gray. This is about Saul, and Grace. Why is it taboo? Well, because Saul has spent his entire life getting ready to go into seminary school. So this starts with him, I think it's right at the end of high school or the summer before, after their senior year. And so this has been his whole goal. He's going to graduate from high school. He's going to go to seminary school and he is going to be a priest. And then he meets Grace. Dun, dun, dun. So he falls for her, but he still has all these plans. And so does like he disrupt his life plan for a girl that he's just gotten to know for it's really not very long. It's like very short amount of time. And so he really struggles with that. And it's a trilogy. So you have to read all 3 books to find out like exactly what happens. But it becomes very taboo because he gives into some urges when he's supposed to be learning how to be a priest. So it's really good. I felt like it was taboo, but I'm sure Jessica has a book that's gonna trump it now.
Actually, my last one isn't too bad.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I can't imagine what's not too bad to you.
This is so much fun. Okay. My last book, the last book, is Medicine Man by Saffron Kent.
Oh my gosh, this is on my TBR. I've been wanting to read it.
It's on my list of Mandy you need to read on TBR.
Oh, really?
Or on Goodreads, the list that we have for each other. This is on the list for you.
I need to go check that out. Did you read Perfect Strangers? Exactly.
No, but I downloaded it to my phone. So I can do it now. I just, like I said, I just feel like I need to be able to concentrate. I can't.
You and your downloaded books. I can't even imagine how many books you have on your
My
Kindle.
poor Kindle is like, lady, I can't take anymore. The load is too much. Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, Medicine Man by Saffron Kent. So this is about Willow. Willow has had a what we will call a roof incident, and she's landed herself in a psych ward to be watched over for the next 4 weeks because suicidal tendencies and suicidal thoughts. And so she is at this psych hospital or in the psych ward. And she meets a grumpy dude with all of his walls up, and it's really hard to get anything. Like he's got like this, just the shield. And his name is Simon. So Willow's 18, Simon is 33, and he is her doctor. And so Willow has had she's had odd thoughts throughout her whole life. Like she thought she was born a witch, and then she thought that she was there were some other things that just, you can tell that mental health hasn't been addressed as she was aging, as she was growing up. And so she works on that with Simon, but she also brings out his other side, and things happen. And I really can't tell you much more. Simon's dad runs the psych hospital, so you have that going for you, but you kind of have to go into it blind. Otherwise, you just don't know. So that was my tamest, by the way.
Wow.
Yeah, sorry. I just can't tell you much about it. Yeah.
Okay, before we wrap up, I have to just give shout outs to my favorites. Okay?
Yes.
Carrie Ann Cole, Torn. This is taboo. It's age gap, but it has major taboo to it. I've talked about this, I think, in other videos. We need to do like a video of, I think if we've already done our favorites though, so we've covered this, right? Anyways,
I want to talk about it all the time.
I do. So I just feel like a taboo video. We have to shout this out. I will link the video where I talk about my favorites and talk about that. And then Birthday Girl is under taboo, but it must be because it's her boyfriend's dad.
Yeah.
That makes it taboo.
I didn't grab mine, but Credence is also under taboo by Penelope Douglas.
I totally get Credence.
Definitely taboo.
Being taboo. For me, Birthday Girl is just like the best love story ever.
See, how you feel about Birthday Girl is how I feel about Credence.
But that's
the difference between the two of us. You're Birthday Girl. I'm Credence.
That is a great way to explain us.
It is. Both love Penelope Douglas, but I'm over here and you're over here.
Let's just take a moment to think about Pike.
Good gravy. All right, everybody. And with that that is 12 of our favorite taboo reads. Let us know what your favorite taboo read is, or if you're going to read any one of these books. But I'll take all the taboo, and you now know the difference between the two of us, so you can address it as Mandy would like this one, or Jessica, this is dark enough for you.
Oh,
That's how you
gosh.
do that. So, yeah.
So make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays for new videos from us.
And until then,
go read Birthday Girl.